Hi everyone, it's Theresa V. And this month there is so much for us to look at. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And it feels almost as if everything has been upended at the same time, which is no mistake actually, because we've just been through this huge solstice energy and this powerful new moon eclipse. So the angels want us to understand how universally and cosmically things are always aligned, that when we talk about oneness, it's not just oneness in terms of consciousness of humanity. It's oneness with us and the earth. It's oneness with the earth and the universe. Everything works and goes hand in hand, and every single thing affects everything else. We're seeing that being evidenced on our planet right now in a huge way. So, in order for us to really go deep and talk about what's going on in the world this month, we need to allow our angels and divine team to pick us up over the energy of the earth so that we can see a bigger and broader perspective. We can see the earth from a perspective where we are detached and not immersed in the energy. So we're inviting you right now just to let yourself be lifted by the energy of your angels so that you can pull yourself out of everything for a second and look at the earth from a more universal perspective. This is a time where all of our deep wounds, all of our shadow wounds, all of the places where we are easily triggered are coming into our awareness. They're coming up for us to notice them, to rewire them if we need to, or to invite them into the wholeness of our being. But this is not only happening for us as individuals, this is happening for humanity and for the earth as a whole. So it's a time where we're all finding ourselves being a little bit more reactive. And so the angels want us to understand that. They want us to understand that this is something that's going on universally. And it feels like each and every one of us is being squeezed. As we talk about oneness and unity, we're talking about it for individuals as well as for the collective, as well as for the planet and the universe. And it just keeps expanding outward. So if you look at what's happening on Earth at this time, there are a lot of places where the angels are using this visual that is just so gross. It's like boils and pimples that have been festering. They've been lanced. And now what's happening is we're squeezing all of the infection out of them so that it can be exposed out in the open. The air can heal it. We can wipe it away. We can really work to get everything that's been festering out of these wounds. And then from that place, we can begin to heal. We can begin to grow a new layer of skin. And when we're talking about the world, we're talking about systems, we're talking about outlooks, we're talking about interconnectedness. There are places where the way things have been have failed us, either as a small part of the population or as a huge part of the population. But when things fail, even the smallest part of the population, it affects the whole. There is not one thing that happens to or for one person that doesn't happen to or for the whole. So it's important for us right now to understand that these energies are coming up because we've been holding the light. The angels want us to know that they are right there with us through every step of the way. We have been holding the light so that all of this energy that opposes it, so that all of this energy that's been hiding in the shadows or in the darkness or in the wounds that we've held inside of us, so that it can all come up, because it can't move forward with us as we seek to ascend as individuals and as a population. We can't move into something new if we're not looking at the things about the past that really failed us. And the astrology of the universe has really been supporting this. Everything that's been happening has been causing us to look at these places, has been holding us in the energy of the Divine Mother. How much nurturing, how much love, how much holding can you allow in? And so it's a really beautiful time. It's very chaotic. It's very unnerving. It can be a lot of work, and it can be really exhausting. And each and every one of us is called to be part of this change and part of this growth in our own way. And the important thing for us to remember is that the angels can help us, our divine team can help us, our practices can help us to come back to that place of being as balanced and centered as possible, even in the midst of all of the chaos. Because we can see things from a higher vantage point, meaning not better or worse, just meaning we can kind of pull ourselves out of it even for a moment and try to see the universal perspective, and then come back to center, come back to being guided by that still small voice within. And when we can be guided from that place, we can then take the appropriate action that we are being guided to take. So there is never a question of, should I act? How should I act? What am I being required to do? Because if there is no guidance, you don't take the action until you know what your guidance is. And trust me, you will know. The angels are assuring us that we will know exactly when we are called to act. There will be no confusion. It will be very, very clear. So you can speak to each and every one of your angels, asking for that clarity, asking for that direct line of communication. So what's coming in right now are the light codes of freedom. And this is really important because as they are washing over us and being absorbed by our system, anything that is in opposition to the energy of freedom is coming up for us to look at. So the angels want us to understand that what's coming up in the collective is the same thing. It's anything that stands in opposition to the energy of freedom. Very often, our experiences have led us to see things in a certain way. And it's only when we come into contact with other people that we begin to expand and see things from a larger view. Universally, right now, we're being called to listen. We're being called to witness each other in our experiences. We're being called to learn from each other, to go back to that place of listening and learning, and not going to a place or to a person with a predetermined perspective where we close our ears, we close our hearts, and we just decide that no matter what is shared, what I witness, or what is said, I already know what I think. It's a matter of just being open. And it's in hearing and experiencing with other people what they've gone through, we can begin to get to a place of compassion. We can begin to get to a place of understanding that we might be looking at the exact same thing from two completely different perspectives. And we can start to understand each other's perspective and to create something new by merging those two experiences and perspectives. So we're creating a new hologram by tapping into the experiences of others. It's important for us to understand also that what people want right now more than anything is for their pain to be acknowledged and for them to be witnessed in it. And that is something we all need. We all need to be witnessed. We all need to be acknowledged. And for a lot of us, there are places where we haven't felt comfortable speaking to our pain. Almost every one of us on this planet has experienced some sort of abuse of power in our own lives, where we felt that it was more prudent for us to be silent rather than speak it or speak to it. And that, for the last few years especially, has been coming up for clearing in so many ways. And we're just seeing the continuation of that and the momentum getting bigger and bigger, where people are now saying, I will no longer be silent in the face of abuse of power. And so regardless of what a human being's view is about any particular thing that's happening on the earth plane, when we rise to the higher perspective, we can actually see this from the universal perspective, where the throat chakra is being opened. All of these old emotions and the old ways of power being distributed are being dismantled because we are all coming into the acceptance of our own power. And as we do that, the power starts to just settle in each person. And the angels have been bringing the message that we are beginning to embrace the light and the shadow in every human being, and to understand that one has never existed without the other, that we are all multifaceted, and that only looking at one piece of the puzzle doesn't honor the totality of the human being and doesn't honor the totality of the human experience. And so right now, with the energy of the planet in so much upheaval, as the energy of people is in so much anxiety and so much anger, right now is the time where so much magic exists. It's the time where miracles exist. We just need to keep bringing ourselves back to the place of stillness, back to the place of taking aligned actions, and back to the place of trust, of being able to see what's going on from the larger perspective and trust that all is in divine order. And then we can ask for ease and grace. We can ask for the highest good of all. We can be present for each other. We can be present for the process and not have to turn our back on it. We can truly be part of the change in so many ways, but especially by remembering that holding our vision of the way we want the world to be, based on equality, based on peace, based on a beautiful place for every single being, regardless of whether you're a human or a fairy or in any of the other unseen realms, a beautiful place for you to coexist. We can create that environment with every thought we think, with every word we speak, and with every action we take. So it is really time for each of us to step fully into our power of creation, our power of co-creation, asking our angels to hold us, asking them to be supportive of us and to keep us rising to the frequency where we can create the highest and best for what's next on this beautiful planet, on our behalf, on behalf of the whole, and on behalf of Gaia herself. And so when you get sucked into the places where you're feeling like this isn't possible, or the energy that's swirling around you of disharmony and discord and anything other than unity seems to be weighing on you, then just come back to this perspective of why it's happening, what's actually going on, and then asking the question of how can I be part of the solution? Angels, divine team, please guide me. And you will get your answer. Make no mistake, we all need to be part of the solution, and our angels are constantly there to support us in that. If you would like to feel the support of the angels on an even deeper level, with like-hearted, aligned community, I invite you to take part in our Angel Transformation Hour call on July 14th. The link is in the description of this video or the comments. These calls are completely donation-based, and the donations are shared out with a charity that is inspired by the angels each and every month. We'll go very deep in terms of what energy and what messages the angels want to share, and then we'll be answering your questions live on the air. I look so forward to checking in with you on this call and to spending this time with you. I hope that you'll join us, and I hope to see you again real soon. Take care, everybody. You are not alone, and you are loved so much.